All right, folks, what is going on? This episode 491 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. And today is going to be, Atlanta Falcons Friday for the most part. We're just going to talk all Atlanta Falcons because of the news that we got. We have Desmond Ridder is going to be the starter now going forward for the season. Have 4 games left, and we're going to talk about those 4 games, what Desmond Ridder is up against. This is going to be a very interesting look at the last month of the season. You have 2 of the games against divisional rivals. You also have an interesting game in Baltimore, and you also have the Cardinals coming into town to play the Atlanta Falcons. So all 4 of these games going to have some type of interesting element to it. Not just because Desmond Ridder is playing, but the implications of all of these games. It's going to be really interesting. If this is your first time here, welcome. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble. I'm also on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. I can be found on Twitter if you want to follow me over there, where I talk about things that don't make the show, and I give commentary on those things. Also, if you don't mind hitting the like button, share this podcast, and let people know what we're doing over here. Subscribe to the podcast avenues if you want to listen to the podcast at your leisure. And be your own program manager. Also, this show is brought to you by BetUS. Is our ad affiliate link, our partnership that we have with BetUS, where you can bet on and you can put wagers on any game or any type of thing that is pretty much on their site. I mean, they do everything from football, baseball, basketball, MMA, esports. You actually can bet on the World Cup. You also can bet on other things as far as individual players, what they can do, what would they do in a quarter, what the team would do in a quarter, half, 3 quarters, final, will the game finish in overtime. All those things you can do. The best way to get involved with BetUS is click that link down in the description, put down $100, and you'll get 125% bet book bonus. That's the special that they have, and it also helps the channel. Once again, $100 down on your wagers will give you 125% bet book bonus. You already double your money coming out the gate, and you can bet on all those things that was mentioned. So without that being said, let's get into the show. Desmond Ridder. What is he up against for the next 4 games? Desmond Ridder is pretty much set to go to play quarterback in the NFL, in my opinion. No, I know he hasn't played down yet. He hasn't done anything as far as being productive on the field. But I think he's ready based on what I've seen in the preseason and what the quarterback coach said in a recent interview. I have no doubt that Desmond Ridder is going to be at least better, slightly better. And I'm setting the bar low because the Falcons, we as Falcons fans have been through a lot. And I get it. I'm not trying to put crazy expectations on Desmond Ridder. So I think at the very least he will be slightly better than Marcus Mariota, which will give us a chance to win some games. And what the quarterback coach said, I did a live stream on this a while back on the interview that the quarterback coach said, and said that they believe that he's ready. Not only that they believe that he's ready, that he has more knowledge and he's ahead of the game than what they thought he'll be. I think they were just trying to hold off using him until they cannot use him till they had no choice, or they was going to wait till next season once he had a full year under their belt. And that's understandable. The thing about it is Marcus Mariota was supposed to be the stopgap. He was supposed to get us, into some form of competitiveness throughout the season. And even though I don't like all the things he's done, and I think he gave away some games for us, or he was the reason why we lost games, I still feel like he did just enough to keep us competitive in a divisional race. Fortunately, the division is not that good, but at the same time, he kept us in number 1 or number 2 in the division for the season. He's done his job. I don't like the fact that the things that he's done in certain games, the Commanders game, the Steelers game, the Panthers game, the Rams game. I've been naming games throughout the entire season about what I felt that he could have done better. But all in all, when you look at the total body of work, he's done exactly what was asked of him. Unfortunately, the game against the Steelers was a game that we could have won. You can also look back at the game against the Chargers. It's another game that we could have won. And the Commanders as well. you have a situation where we could have been 9-10 games, a 9 or 10 win team right now. And I think that's where Desmond Ridder could come in and mitigate those mistakes. I don't think you're going to see any wild and crazy overthrows. Are you going to see mistakes? Yes, but I don't think you're going to see like ball placement mistakes. I don't think that. And I think ball placement is one of the things that really hindered the team, is the lack of efficient ball placement. Now, will Desmond Ridder throw interceptions? He probably will. You got to understand, these 4 games that we're going to talk about, they're going to disguise their defense to try to confuse him. And I understand that the coaching staff says that Desmond Ridder has learned a lot. I think he's ready to go, but that doesn't mean that I think he's going to master all these defenses that he's going up against. So I feel like he will make a few mistakes. Hopefully they're not mistakes that will kill, the team as far as wins and losses. But as a rookie, you're going to have those mistakes. You just are. I mean, hell, Peyton Manning was a rookie at one point, and he had tons of mistakes. And I'm not trying to compare him to Peyton Manning, but you got to understand, if Peyton Manning can have these mistakes coming in, you best believe that Desmond Ridder would. Any other of these rookies that come in and makes mistakes, you best believe that he would too. My main thing is, I just don't think that he's going to make the mistakes that cost us games like I feel like Mariota has. Like I said, I don't think ball placement is going to be an issue. I don't think that, certain forms of decision making would be an issue. And, there's a difference between, and before I get into the 4 teams that we're going to face, I don't think that decision making and making errors are exclusive. I don't think they're the same thing. Decision making is more like, I think I'm going to make this decision that I feel that is the best move at the time. Making errors is not knowing what decision to make. I hope that makes sense, because you have some quarterbacks that don't know what to do in certain situations compared to, I feel, what Desmond Ridder would do. It'll be times he'll make a decision and it may not be the best decision or the right decision. I mean, you that's the part about, the growing pains of this, being a quarterback. All of them are going to have that. All of them. But let's look into these 4 games. The Falcons are going up against the Saints on December 18th. This is pretty interesting for Desmond Ridder and Atlanta. You basically have a whole bye week. I think they just made the decision yesterday. So you basically have 7, 8, 9, 10. You almost have like 12 days. You almost have like 12, 11 or 12 days to really figure out what you could do against the Saints. This bodes very well for Desmond Ridder due to the fact that he's already been learning throughout the entire season, but now you're not being thrown into the fire on, this upcoming Sunday. It's not like you've been named a starter, on, Wednesday and then or on Thursday, and then you turn right back around and 3 days later, you're going to be in live action. No, you have a whole week. As a matter of fact, I think the Saints play this week. So with that being said, they can watch what the Saints are doing this week and get an idea of what's going on. Or you can watch other type of film that they've done throughout the year and watch what's going on and see if you can learn from that. So the Saints are going to try to disguise coverages. They're going to try to get at him with Cam Jordan and the other guys up front. They're going to try to get at him. They're going to try to rattle him. I don't think that the Saints defense is the best. I think they're a lot, they fell off. They're not as good as they advertised from the beginning of the season. And as a matter of fact, I said this earlier, pretty much all season, we were basically a couple plays away of winning this game. There's no business that we should have lost this game. I know there's some people saying, well, what happened with the defense? Well, if you're constantly giving their offense the ball over and over again, it's only so much a bend don't break you can do with this type of with any defense. There's no defense going to be that locked down at all times. They're going to give up some points if you constantly put them out there on the field. So hopefully we'll mitigate that with the running game, and I think the running game is going to be very complimentary to Desmond Ridder. You got 3 guys back there who can run for almost 4 to 5 yards a carry. That's going to be really good for Desmond Ridder, and that could set up the play action. And I think Desmond Ridder do pretty good in play action from what I've seen in college. And I think that even if this is your first live action, play action is going to work very well for you because it's going to open up some things for the Falcons as far as, holes in the secondary. And it's unfortunate Kyle Pitts is not going to be here to exploit that, but I do feel that McCole Pruitt and you have Fursker and even Drake London and Oz, I think those guys are going to be able to give up some production, or not give up, but have more production in this facet of things. So look for the run game to run very well against all four of these teams. But with them going up against the Saints, I'm pretty sure that's how it's going to start out, just to get him in a rhythm. Going up against the Ravens, I don't want to talk too far ahead, even though I said what he's up against for the next 4 games. This is the topic of the show. But I don't want to get too far in it, but with the Ravens, they have a stout defense. Their defense is actually pretty good. The only thing about this is Desmond Ridder just going to have to not. He's going to have to try to find a way to not make mistakes. That's basically what it is. If he doesn't give the Ravens a chance to get a rhythm and keep their offense on the field, it will be a long day for the Falcons. I feel that the running game, once again, will try to establish the run a little bit. And once again, I don't know if play action will work too well against the Ravens, but if anything, if you get efficient short passes, get some guys in space, get some guys open, I think that's probably like the best recipe against the Ravens. Going up against the Cardinals, once again, this is January 1st. This is almost a month away. Don't know what the team will even look like by then as far as the Falcons or the Cardinals. But right now, I will say you have a pretty good chance to do some things against this team. The Cardinals aren't all that good. You should just play your game. You don't have to do anything special to negate anything on defense, on offense. Well, you don't have to negate anything to stop their defense. I think their defense is average at best. We should be able to find ways to exploit certain things on their defense and be fairly successful. So I don't want to get too far in that, but I feel like that's what he's up against. Desmond Ridder, they just have a game plan to work to his strengths, and that should work with him against the Cardinals. Now, the Buccaneers coming to Atlanta for the last game of the season. This game is going to be bananas because I feel like this game could probably be for the divisional title, in my opinion, if the Falcons continue to, I ain't going to say continue, if they find a way to continue to hold teams down to 19, 20 points, they will be able to win against the next 3 games. And the Buccaneers and the Falcons could be a showdown. It could be the rookie versus the vet. You're going to have Desmond Ridder versus the longtime veteran Tom Brady. And for the most part, we have a blueprint of beating the Buccaneers. We shown what we could do in the past game that we played against them. Bad call threw that whole game off. And I think with better quarterback play, we could probably get ahead on the Buccaneers and make them sweat a little bit. Now, knowing that they have Tom Brady, you have to be mindful. This guy knows how to come back and win football games. It just has to go back to our defense trying to make some things happen. Hopefully Grady Jarrett or anybody else in that front seven could get to Tom Brady a few times, rattle him, even make him rattle him a little bit, or even take him to the ground, and that will negate anything that they could probably do against us. All in all, once again, I will look for the Falcons to try to do some more running plays, some more play action to get Desmond Ridder in a rhythm. So basically what we're looking at here is get get Desmond Ridder in a rhythm with the play action against the Falcons and the Buccaneers. And with the Ravens, don't make any mistakes. Make very little, because I don't even think Lamar Jackson may not be playing. I think he has a torn or a sprained PCL or something like that. I'm not really sure. But if he's not playing, that's a game changer for the Falcons. That could give us a chance to just find a way to make the fewest mistakes possible against that defense. And with the Cardinals, I don't have much faith in the Cardinals. If we go in there and just set a game plan to lean on our strengths, I think we should be able to win that game as well. So you have to understand all these losses that we have outside of the Bengals, and you may want to talk about the Panthers, which, like I said, that game when we lost 15-25, I feel like the game was 15-22. They kicked the field goal with less than 30 seconds left. I don't count those 3 points. All our losses for the most part was one possession losses. So one possession basically tells you that a play here or a play there tilts the entire game on its head. And I feel like the Falcons, with the quarterback that they have with Desmond Ridder, they will be able to, get rid of those mistakes and make that one extra play to win a football game. And if they could do that 3 out of the 4 times, preferably, I would like to see them do it 4 out of the 4 times. We could be very successful and win the division. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear this. We may even make the playoffs. If you like this commentary, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me know what you guys think. Episode 491, what Desmond Ridder is up against for the next 4 games. Is this something that is achievable? Is it going to be stuck like a deer in the headlights? What's going to happen with this? I feel like it's going to be, I'm not going to say it's going to be very successful. I just don't know. But I think I did a pretty good job laying the blueprint out on what they have to do with Desmond Ridder and the way for him to be successful. And if he's successful, the team will be successful. I think that this will be a good opportunity to pretty much revitalize the team in the last month of the season. Hopefully that'll be the case. We'll see how that goes. Let me know what you guys think. I am on YouTube and Rumble. I'm also on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts. Click that link down in the description if you want to check all avenues to support. Also, click that Bet US if you want to put some wagers on some of these games, some of these players, some of these other things that they have out there that you could bet on. $100 will give you a 125% bet book bonus. And I want you guys to enjoy your weekend. We don't have a Falcons game. We don't have a Georgia Southern game. We can sit back and watch other football and just relax and not be stressed out on what's going to happen with our teams. I will see you guys throughout the weekend, maybe make a video here or there talking about some things, but I'll definitely be back on Monday. You guys take it easy. Enjoy your weekend. You guys take it easy. You guys be blessed. Peace.